Facebook gaming. Where is it going to be taking us? We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Andrew Perrin with me as always, and we're going to keep going in a little bit more to what his strategy is, as well as we're going to take a step back today because I realize, and I'm sure everybody else has too, most everything we say about Facebook gaming has been positive, but there are some different aspects that we need to look at. And I came across a really good Reddit thread, or it wasn't good, it was actually terrible, but the points remain the same on this thread. And we're going to talk about how there are some aspects of it that need to be fixed ultimately and could negatively impact your experience on Facebook gaming. Andrew Perrin, how are you doing this morning, sir? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm doing well. Yeah. And yeah, you surprised me. Although I guess I'm not surprised that we have always said really, really positive things about Facebook gaming. Here in the cast, we've been pretty excited about it. But there are some bad things. There's some ugly things on this platform I don't like how it's been changed for 2020. And the number one thing that I've found in this test that I don't like is Facebook going through and removing any ability for a new page or a new creator to advertise. We're not live?
Doesn't look like.
Hello?
Yeah, it's not looking like it.
Really?
Yeah, we are. Okay, so we are actually live. It's just not going to Twitter.
It's not going
to whatever
Twitter. Share this broadcast to Twitter?
Like we're on Periscope, but just not on Twitter. Okay, now we are. Now it just popped up 4 seconds ago. So it just took a little bit of time to get into it. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Maybe let's start over.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead and start it over because for some reason we've been talking for 5 minutes and it just went live on Twitter. Anyway, what we're doing here today, Facebook gaming, the update part 2. We kind of hit on this yesterday. Andrew Perrin was walking us through his strategy. We're also going to be taking a look at some of the negative aspects of Facebook gaming because we realize we really don't cover it that often. I'll ask you again, Mr. Perrin. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday, man. I can't believe we got through this week and that we're finally talking about Facebook again. And yeah, so Ross is talking to me this morning. He's like, I realized looking back through all of our stuff that we just always say really positive things about Facebook gaming and that's the case. And I'm not surprised, but there are some things. I don't want to be throwing you guys this bias the whole time just because we really like where it's going and we're excited about it. That doesn't mean it's all rainbows and golden sunshine, okay? I ran into a lot of things testing that is not that. Specifically, the first one that I found is Facebook went through and like actively removed any way for a new streamer or a new page to advertise their live streams. So you have to be whitelisted by Facebook to advertise your live streams. If you've ever tried to hit the promote button on those, you'll notice that you can't unless you are whitelisted. Well, there was a trick where you could actually schedule out a stream and you could copy the link to that post and you could create a new post and paste that link in the new post and say, hey, I'm going to go live, here's the post. And you could actually advertise that post that was a link to the scheduled live stream, which would work well because in the advertised post, people could RSVP to your live stream and then they could show up. So you still had a way of kind of utilizing Facebook's tools to promote your live streams as a brand new page or user. That is no longer the case. And they've clearly gone through and removed every location through Facebook gaming where you could potentially promote streams or buy a concurrent viewership audience, which this is like the main reason why we were even excited about in the first place was that, finally, we've got a streaming platform where you're not bowing to the algorithm. You can actually use financial resources maybe to get ahead a little bit, which for any marketer or who has some advertising skills, I mean, it's not like you have to be rich to take advantage of this. You can do pretty efficient advertising for very cheap, but you can't do that. Facebook is clearly doesn't want users to be able to do that. They want creators on the Facebook gaming side of their live streaming platform to have to be beholden to their algorithm. And that's disappointing. It's really disappointing that they've gone that route. I didn't actually think that they would do that because they've got this advertising platform that makes them tons and tons of money. And I expected them actually to farm out to gamers and try to make a bunch of money off gamers trying to be creators. But they didn't do that. They want everyone to have to go through their algorithm. And I guess some people might look at that as a good thing too, but I was hoping that that would be a differentiator for Facebook, and that's not the case that we're finding in our tests, at least. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think, especially because we're professional gaming marketers, so when we see an opportunity like that, we think it's a huge hit. But I can understand where other streamers and stuff may see that almost as like an unfair advantage, which I guess in some weird way it is. But, you know, back to this Reddit post that I looked at, which, by the way, was from 2019. So a lot of the stuff, that this person has said, it was not only asinine, using a lot of language they clearly didn't know. But people in the comments and myself agreed that the actual points, the talking points that he had for this, there is an argument to be made here. And the first one that was listed was the algorithm, like everything you just listed. The second biggest thing, which again, just reminding people, this post was made probably 8 months ago. So they obviously wouldn't have seen this coming, but copyright issues. And Facebook is notorious for completely overburdening their copywriting.
Yeah. I mean, now I think everyone's on the same playing field with copyright, but Facebook's system was actually more robust than Twitch's. From the get-go, from the inception of their Level Up Creator program, it's got tools that automatically go through your videos and detect if you've got copyright music in there, and then responds appropriately. Which, I mean, that's something I don't necessarily think that that's a negative on Facebook. I think it's probably better that we're dealing with that now than having like this kind of Wild West period with copyright and DMCA takedowns that we maybe had with Twitch, and then we kind of have to grow up at some point and realize that, like, okay, we actually need to like do this the right way. Facebook is just ignoring all of that randomness, and it's just serious from the conception of it. So that's actually probably a good thing for us to just get used to doing. I personally, in my tests, have not had any issue with that type of thing. And I did test around with a little bit of music and audio, but I went through specifically and found Creative Commons license material to use, and that's the only kind that I use. And I use it pretty rarely. I normally use the in-game music and sound and let that come out. So in my test, I didn't have any issue there. So Ross, the post you're referring to is I guess it's like a jaded Facebook gaming user who was partnered, they came over, they were talking about their experience. I want to talk about what he said about community. What can you go through what he had? Well,
in some of his points actually all kind of tie together. And one of the points, it was one of the last points that he made, was the lack of streamer culture. Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah. So, and he points to there not being much of a streamer culture there, which I would say he's like part right. I mean, if you guys go to Facebook Gaming now and you look, there's just actually not that many streamers, period. So there's not a whole lot of culture there yet because there's just not a whole lot of streamers there yet. But he's pointing to something that is actually an issue on the other platforms too. The culture on Twitch, if you think about how community is built on Twitch, they actually the thing to do is you send community off platform to Discord. That's like the thing to do. So yeah, I mean, communities being housed and having tools for it in platform is not really standard. And Facebook actually has something for that. They have groups, which is actually better than what anything Twitch would have. But I do agree that there isn't this sort of like, if you're actually just looking at the culture of the platform itself, like Twitch culture, right? When you think Twitch culture, you think of Kappa, you think of Poggers, you think of the emoji use, you think of Twitch chat a lot. You think of the different big streamers and how they work together and they collaborate, and like the different memes that come out of that. You've got a lot there that I think that kind of makes it up. Facebook, you don't have any of that. And there's a couple reasons, and I think this is one of the downsides of Facebook is the emojis. You don't really have, and I feel like a lot of the other platforms haven't really caught onto this well too. One of the reasons why Twitch works so well is because of how meme-like and creative their Twitch chat emojis are. And none of the other platforms have really looked at it that way. They've been trying to do like more professional emojis, more like just like normal stuff. And Facebook's the same way. You don't really have any sort of you don't have the ability to meme in chat, really, which is, I think, attractive on Twitch. And Mixer doesn't have that either. As far as I know, I've never seen emojis that were like that. So I think you're missing part of the culture there, I guess is what I'm getting to. And I think that's a negative. The other negative is that the people who are watching Facebook streams, they're doing it from their Facebook profiles or pages.
Yep.
But so it's your first and last name. So there's pros and cons to that, right? There's the pro is, you're less likely to be an idiot because you're not hiding behind an anonymous internet title. It's your actual name, and people can click on it and go see your profile unless you have it privatized, etc. So you're actually representing yourself, which I think the pro there would be you have people less likely to be toxic. But the con is you kind of miss out on people having the freedom and maybe the flexibility of being able to kind of meme a little bit or feel comfortable doing that type of thing. And I don't know, the verdict will be out and we'll see, but it's definitely a different dynamic, especially since the streamer is likely to address you by your name on stream, which means they'll be saying maybe your first and last name on stream. So then it's on the internet. So anybody caring about their own personal privacy on the internet, you're putting yourself out there a little bit more as a viewer on Facebook Gaming.
Yeah, this is actually one that I don't think is good at all, and I didn't even really think about it that much. I think the ability to be anonymous in gaming is kind of a centerpiece of what makes it so fantastic. For better or worse, we all know the worst case scenarios of that. But for the better, like what you were just mentioning, if I were Facebook, one of the first things that I would be looking to doing is when you go onto that Facebook Gateway, when you click that G icon on your app or your desktop or future app, if it ever gets approved by Apple, then I think that you should have the ability to keep your gaming profile the same as your regular profile, or with the switch of a button, switch it over where you can actually have a username or a gamer tag to make it more like Twitch and stuff like that. Because, I mean, that was one of the biggest points raised in this, is having your name. Like you said, people are now calling out your name. If you say something that somebody you think could disagree with, next thing you know, they're sending you private messages and they know where you live. Like, give me a freaking break. Like, that's not what gaming is supposed to be about. You're supposed to be able to, throw your opinions out there and then have everybody make, terrible claims about your mother, but they don't actually know who your mother is. Like, you can't actually, it's not going to work when you have your real name, because I know, even myself included, I have such low self-esteem. I don't want to put my opinion out there. People are going to be trashing it on Facebook. Like, who's this Ross Dillon asshole? Look at this guy commenting here. This dude needs to get the F off. Like, it's bad. It makes me not even want to go on Facebook Gaming sometimes to watch a stream. Am I being way too reacting to this? Am I being too emotional here?
No, I think you have the sentiment that a lot of viewers have, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. In the gaming space, we use our gamer tag to represent us, and that doesn't exist in Facebook Gaming. So you're kind of missing like core part of not just like a streamer culture. And going back to what this guy was saying, and he didn't say all this, but I'm kind of taking what he was looking at and expanding upon it here. We're missing a whole part of gaming culture on the platform. We're missing gamer tags, right? Like, I have it on my page, but I can't really watch streams with that. I think what we need to be able to do is every gamer has to be able to interact as page in chat. Our pages need to be like our gamer profiles, basically, for this to work out well. I don't see them changing that, though. I mean, if they haven't already conceptualized that and thought that out from the beginning. In the beginning, I don't see that happening here. So I think that's a huge deterrent for gamers coming over. I think the growth has been good on Facebook gaming, but I think it's still going to be slow for gamers to come over. A, because of Facebook having bad press and having bad headlines in the news, which they frequently do, and B, that it's so kind of invasive to who we actually are and not to our gamer identities. And so you've got this dynamic that's kind of missing for a lot of gamers. I think they would definitely be willing to pick another platform over Facebook gaming pretty easily. And then, not having great emojis. I think those are so insanely important. I think people really underestimate how much that blew up Twitch, was how good their emojis were. And that's a huge component. So let me switch gears here. I did want to show you guys a little bit of stuff. And so yesterday I talked advertising, and I'm going to give you a quick dive into my Facebook advertising account and show you what I tested. I tested page likes and through plays, and I didn't really find, these are pretty initial tests, but I didn't really find anything that was worthwhile. So I did a worldwide Star Citizen targeting. I got 1,704 page likes for really, really cheap, and these weren't targeted, so I didn't expect much of them. But they literally didn't do anything for my page at all. So this is basically a waste of money outside of it just being a test. And then this one I still have going since it's a little bit more highly targeted, which is US, Canada, and a UK geographically targeted page like campaign for people who like Star Citizen. And I haven't really seen anything off this either. When new people come into my stream, I ask them where they saw it, and no one ever says they came there from an ad, or that they followed from an ad and then they saw a live stream. That is just not happening at all. It's just not translating over. So I would definitely stay away from doing these. Now, I'm still going to test. There's still probably a way to do it, but it's going to come down to how you're going to be setting up your advertisements. Mine are very basic, like image ads here. Nothing special. Actually, I did change some of these to be a little bit more engaging. But yeah, without showing, I have tons of likes on these ads. Lots of engagement there, but no dice on really much a result. So the second test then was through plays. So I did talk a little bit about this yesterday. Through plays are a 15-second view on a video. And so what I did was I put together an ad set that takes into account pretty much all of the main countries that are an audience set for Star Citizen. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that here today for a minute or two in a moment. If you notice, I also went a little bit deeper as to look at people who were interested in Star Citizen, but they also are interested in live streams on Twitch and live streamer. There's no Facebook gaming category here. And I think that's that one blows my mind. How does Facebook not have their own category for the gaming side on their advertising platform? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that really needs to be there, because if so, then the targeting would be so much more accurate. If that's the case, I can actually target all the users on Facebook who are actually going over to Facebook gaming and using it. But that's not possible right now. So, and they don't have that implemented. So obviously English, and I went through, and basically all I do is I dump my past live streams into this ad set. And so I haven't updated this in a little while, and you can see one is overperforming here. But basically I dump all of these in here just to see how it would do. And the whole idea of this was to have through plays on all my live streams, which will get you these engagements right here. And if we actually go and we view the Facebook post itself here, what you can do then is when you get those likes from advertising and you come down here on the post, you can then come through and actually send invites for them to like your page. And I felt like this method might be stronger in terms of converting some people into regular viewers, because you're sending them a personalized invitation after they've already seen some of your content and they've obviously clicked the like button, so there was some positive association with their experience. And then after that, you're saying, okay, well, come like my page. Maybe that will convert. I have not seen, this idea sounds good in theory, and this worked well in 2019. It does not look like it's working now, at least with my tests so far. So I'm going to keep going with it, and I'm going to play around with a different couple iterations of this idea. But for now, this has not really been working for me in terms of converting concurrent viewership at all. Now, that doesn't mean it's all kind of doom and gloom on my page. My numbers are actually up decently, and the views on the videos have been helping me. And I'm not sure, it's not clear if they've been helping me in Facebook's algorithm or not. But that appears as though it is. And I showed this to you guys yesterday, and I'm going to show it again because I think this is insanely important here. But this section right here, which I'm not sure is even accurate. It says metrics are estimated in development, so I don't know. But because I'm increasing my viewership and I'm increasing with ads, I think I'm getting more return viewership. And this is the metric which they're going to be measuring your monetization requirements off of. So this is one that you're going to want to pay attention to. So I showed that again yesterday. I want to show it again today because it actually went up, and all I did was do one more 2-hour stream with advertisements going. So I'm still testing, but the initial advertising tests don't look great. I would say don't go for like growth. And I'm going to keep testing through plays to see, but so far I can't tell that they've done much, really. And they certainly haven't seemed to increase my concurrent viewership in any way. Okay, so I said I would do this. I will show you guys, if you are going to build an ad and you want to try to experiment with me, which again, I'm not going to promise any results here, but all you got to do is go to Google Trends, because Google Trends is your friend. Was it the AWOL who came up with that saying? I can't even.
Google Trends is your friend. That sounds like an AWOL phrase. That sounds like it. So I'm picking Star Citizen to show you guys an example, because this is the game I'm streaming. You want to pick worldwide. And over the past 12 months is probably fine. If you notice, we've got some data. We can see how it's peaking. If you want, you can compare it. But right now, I'm not going to do that, because if you want to do geographical targeting, this is where I pull my countries from. So France is huge, Germany, Norway, Switzerland, New Zealand, Austria, Canada, Australia, Belgium, Sweden. See, if I was targeting US only, I would actually be number 15 for this game, which is pretty far down. If you've noticed, a lot of other countries here have a lot greater popularity. I mean, even look at Australia, too. So I'll normally pick 15 to 20 countries from this list, and then make sure that I target them in my language, which is English, and make sure that I'm using this for my geographical targeting. Another thing you can do is you can maybe compare it to some modern games, just to see where it's at. I imagine it's not great. Let's check out Last of Us 2, maybe, or just The Last of Us. Ooh, yeah, that's out today.
Yeah, certainly it's up today, because The Last of Us 2 comes out, but it's actually not too bad. But it can at least give you an idea of where it's at. You don't necessarily need to go for this bigger trend, obviously. There are lots of different things, but just sometimes seeing in comparison of what it looks like can be helpful. So that's how I would find in my ads back here. That's how I was able to go through and figure out how to put together your audience set. And that's just kind of one little trick there. Let me see if I have anything else to show you guys. I pulled that up there. No, I don't think so. I mean, so I'm still saving a good bit for discussion here for AWOL to come in, because he has done his own tests too. And we're going to have some things to break down there. We're going to be talking about what game to pick, because that was a huge question mark. I tested like a really, really unknown game on Facebook Gaming. He tested a little bit more known stuff. And he tested some different ad variations too. But yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, there's some not great things looking at Facebook Gaming here that they're doing, but there still is some potential. It looks like I'm still growing, although I haven't had new concurrent viewerships in probably 2 weeks, but it looks like my returning viewers are up. So we'll see where that goes. I'll keep testing.
Sorry, that was muted. That's what they measure you on, so that's not a bad thing. Appreciate you going through all that, man. That's some good. I'm excited to get AWOL back and kind of dive in. You guys can compare and contrast and kind of teach the way a little bit. By the way, I saw Norman pop up there.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Is he pretty pumped up about this cat simulator game?
Yeah, he has zero interest. He just wants to just lay here and not give a hell about anything. Some other stuff to kind of tease. So, and I haven't talked about this at all. Well, that's not true. I talked about it a little bit. But next week, we're going to be also talking about when we're breaking down our tests. We've done a lot of restreaming tests and to multiple platforms simultaneously. And there's a lot to unpack there. So we're not just going to be unpacking Facebook Gaming. We're going to be unpacking Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Periscope, even Restream.io. There's going to be a lot of stuff next week. I'm pretty excited about it. I wish I could talk more about it today, but I gotta wait for AWOL for this stuff.
Bite your tongue. You gotta bite your tongue for right now. But it's really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. We're gonna be showing you a lot of cool. And I'm trying to cover what I say too. But anyway, next week, a lot of cool stuff. You can catch the full video replay of all of our podcasts here. Just go to YouTube, search Digital Drop Pod. You can find the replay. Shoot us a comment if you got questions on there. You can find the audio versions on all podcasting platforms, from Apple Podcasts to Google Podcasts to Spotify, wherever podcasts are available. Give it a listen. We will be back next week. Hopefully AWOL will be joining us again. He's getting caught up in a little work stuff, but that's totally cool. We've held the fort down, but we will see you next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.